Hi, my name is John and I like guitar amplifiers. I love them a lot, I own a lot, and I've tried a lot of amplifiers. And in today's video, I'm going to give you my top 10 list of guitar amp heads that I recommend, based on a lot of questions that I get from you guys. Which amplifier should I get is a question that comes up a lot in my DMs and in the comments section. So I just wanted to make this video to maybe help you make a decision based on my opinion, of course, and based on my experience with all these wonderful amplifiers. Now, I've broken this list up into 10 different categories. So I'm going to be talking about 10 different amplifiers with some honorable mentions along the way. This list is in no particular order, by the way, and I can't put the same amp in this list twice. Those are some rules that I've made for myself. Also, these are only amps that I've tried or owned myself. So I'm not going to talk about any amps that I've never tried for myself. Of course, if you want to hear these amplifiers in action, I've done videos with all the amplifiers on this list. So if you're interested, just look up some videos on my channel. And if you don't agree with this list or have suggestions for the people who are watching this video, let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are and what your top 10 amplifiers are. And if you want to support this channel, you can get one of the amplifiers from this list at my affiliate links for Thomann or Sweetwater. That really helps out the channel. All right, guys, let's get started with the list, starting with number 1, which is the best all-round amplifier. And a lot of people these days are interested in lunchbox amplifiers, which is, logical since they are small, a bit more affordable, lightweight, portable, etc., right? And one of the amps that I recommend a lot is the Synergy Syn20IR. That's an amp that was released, I think, this year. And I've been having so much fun with that little amplifier. Again, it's compact, but it has a lot of good features in there that really make it a versatile package. And most of all, it sounds really good. And the cool thing about the Synergy system is that you can really customize the sound. So you get the amplifier and then you only get a clean channel, basically, and a foot switch, etc., and all the features. But there's this slot for a module in there. And then you have to buy a module based on a Mesa Boogie rectifier, for example, or a PV6505 or a Marshall, etc. And then you can really customize the sound. And then you put that module in the amplifier, and then it is a 3-channel amplifier with IR loading, 3 different power amp structures. So it's a lot of fun and it sounds really good. So I recommend that amplifier to people all the time for those reasons. And even though it's a 20-watt amplifier, it can sound absolutely massive. Huge, chunky low end. Of course, the headroom is going to be a little bit less than a 50-watt head. So if you want more headroom and perhaps more module slots, I can highly recommend the Syn 50, which is a great amp head that I also have. But in general, the Synergy stuff is just a lot of fun and really cool, and they do collaborate with various brands as well, like Dietzel, Fortin, ENGL, etc. Now, the Syn20IR costs around 1,200 euros in Europe, at least, which is where I am located. And then you have to get yourself a module. I think those are around 400. So think 1,600 euros, but then you get a huge, tiny, but very versatile package for that price. And you get a programmable foot switch with it as well. So it's incredible value. So again, I recommend the Synergy Syn20IR all the time because it's a really good and fun amplifier, and it's compact, doesn't have to be loud. You can record direct with it, etc., etc. You get why I love this thing, right? So that's number 1. Let's go to number 2, which would be the best ENGL amplifier. People ask me all the time, I want to get an ENGL, but which one should I get? Well, for this video, I'm going to go with the ENGL Fireball 100 or 25 as an honorable mention, which is basically the same thing, but then smaller. So the Fireball 100 is such a cool amplifier. It's my workhorse, and it's quite a bit more affordable than other ENGL amps like the Savage, for example, or the Special Edition Founders Edition. So they do have more expensive amplifiers. But the Fireball 100 is basically their bread and butter high gain amplifier, and it sounds so good. It's one of my favorite amplifiers. It's a workhorse. It always works for any guitar that I have. So the high gain tone is really good to die for, very articulate, plenty of saturation, plenty of tightness as well. The clean channel is beautiful, sparkly, and chimey. and you can get a nice vintage crunch out of that channel as well. The 100 is about 1,350 euros or so in Europe, and the 25 is a bit more affordable at around 900 euros or so. There's also a built-in noise gate. Now, there is a shared EQ between the channels, so it might not be the ideal amplifier for playing live. If you want to go compact, of course, I recommend the Fireball 25, which does have the bigger power tubes. Of course, the Iron Ball SE is great too, but I really like the Fireball amplifiers. Now, if you do need more channels for playing live or just need more flexibility tone-wise, the Powerball 2 is a great step up, so that's an honorable mention. And if you have a lot of budget, the SEFE or Special Edition Founders Edition is impossible to beat with 5 channels and all the sounds that you could wish for in terms of the ENGL world, right? But the Fireball 100 is an amp that I always recommend because it's just so awesome, packs a punch, and it's pretty affordable. So that was number 2. Now let's go to number 3. What is the best rack amplifier? Now this category is basically an excuse for me to get this amp in this list because it is one of my favorite amplifiers. And that would be the Zuta GBG 120, a really awesome amplifier that you've maybe seen on the channel. It's a rack mount amplifier. Mine is blue. It looks really cool, kind of retro futuristic with a bunch of buttons. And it's a 4-channel amplifier, so very versatile, very sturdy, really well made, quite compact. You got a clean channel, a crunch channel, and 2 different high gain channels with various modes and switches, a built-in gate. It's a unique sounding amplifier for sure, but you can do a lot with it. And it's, you know, it's boutique, so it's not super affordable. I think they cost around 4,000 to 4,500 euros. So that's a lot of money, but you're going to get a great amplifier for that price that is rack mountable as well. One thing that I will say though, that it's not the best versatile amplifier for martially crunch tones. You can get a great crunch tone out of this amplifier, but if you're looking for that more classic Marshall crang for the crunch, then maybe this is not the ideal amplifier for you. But other than that, man, it's so good. An honorable mention in this category would be the Zuta LA25 Mark II, which is a 25-watt amplifier. Very silky smooth and creamy sounding, a bit more vintage, great, very sparkly clean as well. And yeah, it's more affordable than the GBG 120. It sounds quite different. So those amplifiers both are really nice, but the GBG 120 is my favorite. All right, so that was amplifier number 3. Now let's go to amplifier number 4. What is the best metal amplifier? Boy, this is a tough one. But I'm going to go with the Lichtlerm Audio Prometheus amplifier, a really awesome amplifier that I love so much, and I use it a lot as well. It's a unique amplifier in terms of how it looks, how it was designed, and also how it sounds, but it's quite versatile too. I think they cost around 2,800 euros or so, which is not bad for a boutique amplifier like that. The clean channel is nice. There's a bright switch. You can use it for pedals, so it's a great pedal platform as well if you want. There's a preamp defeat, so you can turn off the preamp and use the power amp by itself. And then, of course, the lead channel is to die for. It sounds fat, rich, and textured, really pleasing. And there's this cut control as well that you can use to tighten up the tone. So that's a really cool feature as well. It has a gate. It has all these cool features. And yeah, the Lichtlerm Audio Prometheus is an amp that I always recommend for people who want a great and unique metal amplifier that basically can do it all. Love my Lichtlerm Audio Prometheus. I do want to give an honorable mention to a kind of similar amplifier, which would be the Driftwood Amplifiers Purple or Mini Nightmare. I have the Mini Nightmare currently, and I love that amplifier a lot. It was built for me custom. It looks really cool. Of course, I did a full review. It has a similar layout in that it has a clean channel and a lead channel. Kind of a blend between a rectifier and a 6505, but with a built-in tube screamer. So that is cool. So you can also check those out for a great boutique metal amp recommendation. On to the next category, best lunchbox amplifier or affordable-ish lunchbox amplifier. So an amp that I like to recommend a lot is the Usen-Kettner Tubemeister Deluxe 40, which is my favorite Usen-Kettner lunchbox amplifier. The more affordable version of that would be the Tube Meister Deluxe 20, which is also a great amplifier. I think the 20 is around 500 euros at Thomann right now, and the 40 is a little bit more, I think 700 or 800 euros or so, but both sound really good. And of course, the 40 is super loud. They're nice and compact. They look great. The 40 has 3 channels, a clean, crunch, and a high gain channel. Sounds really awesome across the board. The 20 has 2 channels, clean and lead, but with a built-in boost as well. And I just really love that sound based on the Triamp, which is also an amp that I really like. Versatile, unique character. Can't go wrong with these amplifiers, in my opinion. So that's a lunchbox amp series, if you will, that I really like to recommend. And the prices at Thomann are really good right now for those amplifiers. Now, of course, I have some honorable mentions, especially in terms of affordability. Now, the most affordable lunchbox amplifier that I can think of, especially used, would be the Marshall DSL-20HR. Really fun little amplifier. Does have an interesting character. That DSL sound is not for everybody. Same goes for the clean, but if you're into that Marshall sound, it's a really fun amp. And of course, the PRS MT15 is also an amp that I really recommend. Great lead channel, good clean channel, not a good crunch tone, in my opinion, and the effects loop kind of sucks. I haven't tried the Mark II, so I don't really, I can't really say anything about that. But the Mark I on the used market, for example, is just a great all-around lunchbox amplifier that really packs a punch. On to the next category. What is the best orange amplifier? People ask me that as well all the time. My answer would be the Orange Rockerverb Mark III. I'm primarily a high gain player, so I'm a sucker for good high gain tones, and the Rockerverb just has a really pleasing high gain tone, as well as a wonderful clean channel, built-in reverb and a built-in attenuator as well. These amps are made in the UK, really sturdy, really high quality, loud, punchy, and the sound of the Rockerverb just fits the mix really well, which is an important trait, if you ask me. One drawback, I guess, is that I don't think the Rockerverb has the best crunch. So sort of, more classic sound that Orange has to offer. And also the controls are stepped, which isn't always ideal for finding that sweet spot on the EQ, for example. Other than that, love those amplifiers. I think they cost around 2,200 euros as of right now. A great Orange alternative that I always recommend as well on the used market would be the Orange Tiny Terror. A really classic amplifier that I really love. It does those classic tones a bit better. It's very affordable used, super compact, very simple. So that's a great alternative or a great amp to complement the Orange Rockerverb with. On to the next category. Which Soldano should I get? You ask me all the time. I love all the Soldano amplifiers that I've ever tried, but I'm going to recommend the Astro 20. Now, why am I recommending the Astro 20? My personal favorite is the SLO 30 because it sounds so good. But the Astro 20 is more affordable, has more features, and I think that the clean channel is better on the Astro as well. And you get a lot of additional features that the SLOs don't have, like the built-in IR loading, the custom channel switching and selecting. So there's basically 3 channels, a clean channel and 2 gain channels, and you can choose the gain structure of each channel, program all of that into the switch. So it's kind of similar to the Syn 20 IR in that regard. And even though it's a 20-watt amplifier with 6 V6 tubes, it sounds so good, and it really has that Soldano magic. Maybe it's not exactly the same as an actual SLO, but it can get you very close. And it's just an amplifier that is a lot of fun to play. And I think as of right now, they go for around 1,900 euros or so, which is quite more affordable than an SLO 100. So if you want that SLO sound with a bunch more cool features, the Astro 20 is a wonderful amplifier to look at. Let's move on to the next category, which would be, what is the best British sounding amplifier, right? So kind of Marshall or Marshall based. Now, in my opinion, the best that you can get in this category would be the Friedman BE100 Deluxe. It's the flagship. It's the Friedman that does it all, right? 3 channels, a bunch of switches and ways to configure the sound to your liking. You can get great cleans, great crunch tones, and some really nice high gain tones as well. You've got the SAT switch, the FAT switches, etc. So it's a beast. It's massive too, and it's not affordable. I think it's around 4,000 or so. So you're going to have to spend a little bit of money on that if you want that Friedman sound. But you can get all those sort of modded British tones out of that amplifier and then some. So it's like an amazing amplifier that I also really recommend if you want to get yourself a Friedman. And I do prefer that amplifier over any real Marshall, to be honest. I think it's a bit more refined, and I really love the texture of the gain. Now, I do want to give some honorable mentions to Tube Workshop, one of them being the Lulis, which is kind of like a modded JCM 800 with a built-in boost. And you can also make it sound like a JTM. It's a 50-watt amplifier, really unique look with LEDs inside and stuff, really well-made German quality. And also the Kali Sunset, which I tried at 42 Gear Street, which is an 18-watt plexi amplifier with some Jose-style mods. Really fun amplifier if you're into that classic plexi sound. And I'll be getting a special modded version of that on the channel soon, so stay tuned for that. But those are also really great, but perhaps not as flexible and versatile as the Friedman. So the Friedman is quite refined and very Friedman-esque sounding, if you know what I mean. And the Tube Workshop stuff is a bit more raw and a bit more classic, if you will. So all those amplifiers are really nice as well for that British sound. All right, let's move on to the next category. Best all-in-one amplifier with 4 channels or more. All right, so you've got some money to spend and you want a great boutique amplifier that you can customize perhaps, and an amp that does it all. Now, I have a bunch of amplifiers here that fit into that category, but I'm going to go with the Rev Generator 120 Mark III Revision B, which is such a cool amplifier. If you order one of these amplifiers at Rev, I think they are around 3,000 euros or so, give or take. You can really customize the amplifier by choosing the color of the Tolex, different types of Tolexes, colors of the grill, the controls, and everything, so you can really make it your own. I made mine pink. I wanted to make it really pop in terms of the color. But yeah, amazing amplifier, super well made, 4 channels, different gain structures, different switches to make it sound your own. But it has a unique sound for sure, so it's not going to sound like a Marshall or like a Boogie. No, the Rev amps have their own sound, and it's a sound that I really like a lot. Fits the mix like a glove, and there's a lot of fun to be had with those amplifiers. Also with the built-in load, noise gate, reverb, etc., etc. So the Rev Generator 120 is an amp that I really recommend if you're looking for something with, a lot of options tonally and 4 channels. Really cool stuff. Now, an honorable mention in this category would be the Kettner Tri-Amp Mark III, which I recently reviewed on the channel. Amazing amplifier by Kettner. 6 channels, so quite a bit more than the Rev in this case. Also quite a bit more affordable. The prices on the Tri-Amp are amazing at Thomann right now, in case you weren't aware of that already. Also a unique sounding amplifier, but it's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. Really recommend those as well if you want something with a lot of options, and in this case, something that's quite a bit more affordable than Rev in Europe, at least. So that's an honorable mention. And then the final category of this video, best boutique high gain amplifier. So again, you've got some money to spend and you want something unique, built by good people, by a small company in smaller batches, with a lot of attention to detail. Now, for me, my number 1 pick for that would be the Red 7 amplification Leviathan, which I have over here. This was custom built for me. It has the Joker Tolex. I've used it on the channel plenty of times. Really good amplifier. 2 channels. There's an overdrive channel and a high gain channel. Overdrive channel is a bit more fat and sort of vintage-y, whereas the high gain channel is really modern, quite tight, but not like super tight. Really rich sounding and a lot of fun to play through. I think this one has KD88 tubes, if I remember that correctly. It has a presence control, depth control on the back, and then each channel has its own EQ. There are bright switches, and channel 1 has a switch where you can add more gain, so basically a boost. But yeah, made by great people, really good quality, sounds amazing, and it's going to sound unique. And mine looks really unique too. So this amp has a special place in my heart because of that. Now, of course, Red 7 also make a bunch of other amplifiers, so go to their website and check out what they have to offer. I think if you buy a Red 7 Leviathan in a store right now, it costs around 2,900 euros-ish, give or take, if I'm not mistaken. So that's not a bad price for a boutique amplifier like the Leviathan. Now, an honorable mention would be the Bad Cat Lynx, which is kind of similar in that it has 2 gain channels and not really a clean channel. So if you're into, just distortion, the Bad Cat Lynx is also a really fun amplifier to look at. Really unique and thick sound as well. And that was just really surprising to me. It's a bit more compact and I think a little bit more affordable than the Red 7 as well. So that's an honorable mention for something unique and boutique-y with a lot of gain on tap. Now, of course, I have a lot more amplifiers and I love them all. And if an amp is not on the list that you figured would be on the list, like, I'm sorry, it's not a list about my personal favorites per se. It's more about amps that I often recommend to people based on, questions that you guys ask me. So that was the list. I hope you enjoyed this video. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you agree with this list or do you have any comments? Let me know. Also, please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below as that really helps the channel out. I'd really appreciate it. And again, if you want to support this channel, get something at my affiliate links for Thomann Sweetwater. As that really helps the channel out. I'd really appreciate it. Or you can get something in my web store, which I will link below. And again, if you want to see videos on any of the amplifiers mentioned in this video, check out my channel because I have a lot of amplifier videos on there. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching and hope to see you soon. Cheers.